Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Miss Wanda. How are you? Thank you for joining me. Thank you for your support and everything you do for me and the Houston Roundball Review. Welcome to this edition of the Houston Roundball Review takeover of the lunch break, powered by the Saxenian family. Today's show is their final sponsorship show starting next Thursday, Halloween. Looking for another sponsor for this show on the takeover. But of course, the takeover, also known as Throwback Thursday, is powered by JM&E. And always big salute, big thanks to AJ, Andre Jones, for giving this platform to share my info with you guys. The takeover is available on YouTube and Roku, of course, via the BS3 Network. You can watch the show, download that app on Roku, download BS3 TV. If not, just go to BS3Network.com or BS3TVLive.com. First part of the show, it's business, but it's also Coogs. And business is this reminder for those who already know, but if you're new watching the show, welcome. Come again, tell your friends, don't be a stranger. The YouTube channel for the Houston Roundball Review, over 5 million views and counting. You are interested in advertising, simply email me at advertise@thehrr.com. Again, advertise@thehrr.com. You want to support the Roundball Review, you're watching the show live, you can just scan those QR codes right there. Cash App, Zelle, or PayPal, and chip in, contribute that way as well. Cash App, Zelle, or PayPal, scan those QR codes and support the Houston Roundball Review that way. Or, of course, you can just do the super chat, super stickers that are available via YouTube by clicking that $sign and contributing in that manner. Tuesday, Wednesday afternoon, give you an idea where I was. Big 12 Basketball Media Day. The left side of their screen, the trophy that will go to the winning team. And then the right side is the Big 12 WWE belt that I believe that goes to the most outstanding player, most valuable player of the Big 12 tournament championship. So both of those were on full display at T-Mobile Center during those 2 days of the Big 12 Basketball Media Days. Had a lot of fun, saw some folks, try to squeeze in as much as I could in my revised schedule on a budget, had to trim down on some hotel costs and things of that sort. Managed to squeeze in a few hours in KC. I enjoyed it, and hopefully I'll be back there in March for the Big 12 championship. Got to get some help on the budget there also, but learn some new things about the city, transportation, and how to get around, and ride share, and how far I can walk, and all those good things. Here's a note from UH about Sunday's exhibition game. The Cougs charity game against Texas A&M will stream on ESPN Plus. The game takes place inside Fertitta Center at 4 p.m. Central this Sunday, October 27th. Fans can watch Sunday's game on ESPN Plus with Matt Thomas, UH alum, doing the play-by-play. Reed Geddes, UH alum, the analyst, and Austin Ivan, reporter, calling the action. I'm not sure. I don't believe Austin is an alum, but 2 out of 3 is not bad whatsoever. But it's official. The Cougs Aggies charity game will be streaming on ESPN Plus this Sunday, 4 p.m. The Texans play at noon, so the game should be over around 3:15. So if you're going to do both, you have a chance to make it over to Fertitta Center for 4 o'clock to see the scrimmage the exhibition game between the Cougs and the Aggies. I'll be there. Looking forward to it. And it's going to be a game, okay? It's not the scrimmage like the closed scrimmage between the Cougs and Ole Miss that took place in Shreveport last weekend. It's not like the scrimmage between the UH women's team and Stephen F. Austin. So Saturdays, Sundays, why am I saying Saturday so much? Sundays, charity game for hurricane relief between the Coogs men's team and Texas A&M will be a game. 40 minutes, 2 halves, 5 fouls, disqualify you, free throws, all those things, refs, everything. So it's going to be like a real game, just not going to count. So don't worry about that. Some folks are complaining or wondering, well, is it a game? Is it going to count? Yeah, it's going to count. I'm not going to count, but it's going to be real as real can be for an exhibition game. Kind of curious to see which Cougs play. Some players are dealing with some nagging injuries. I'm not sure if point guard, transfer guard Milos Uzan will be cleared to play, still recovering from the surgery for his broken nose. Milos did not participate in the closed scrimmage against Ole Miss. A few other players are dealing with some nagging injuries. But Manuel Sharp, it's on media day at Big 12. He's going to play. He's looking forward to it. Twan Roberts, he'll be there. He's going to play. LJ Cryer, they're looking forward to it. So a lot of the Cougs are healthy, just not all of them are healthy. So you'll know, I think there's a media availability this evening. We'll see if we get better idea of who's healthy, who's not. I know Coach Sampson's going to have his media call Friday to probably give more details about health status and where things stand and how he's going to treat the game and all those kind of things. But a little birdie told me, Miss Wanda. A little birdie told me. I got the sense of it. That's the vibe. And I see him a few times. I've seen him on the court in action, practice, shooting around. This little bird told me I'm not wrong in my assessment. Mercy Miller is going to get some minutes this year as a freshman. It's up to him how many minutes and how consistent those minutes. But clearly, as a freshman, defense is not his strength, especially Kelvin Sampson / Houston Cougar defense is not his strength right now. But look for him to get some minutes. Look for him to, I'm not saying how soon it'll be. It might be game 1 against Jackson State. But I believe he will be part of the 9-man rotation. Kind of envision him as potentially, remember how Caleb Mills gained Coach Sampson's trust at an early age? So I think that is a possibility for Mercy Miller. Clearly, Caleb Mills is much slimmer than Mercy is now. Mercy's stronger, but the potential is there. I believe Mercy's upside is very high. Now it's up to him to stay on the court. And y'all know what that means, staying on the court. He has to play defense. He has to compete on defense. He cannot be a turnstile. He cannot be someone that opponents will just key on relentlessly because his defense is so poor. So that part is up to him. But his skill set and his potential is there that I believe he is going to be in the rotation. Some news and man, oh man, it's the Players Era Festival. This is the slide that, I posted for a while when the non-conference schedule was announced and confirmed. Well, now, notice the Players Era Festival, November 30th, no longer says Rutgers. It now says TBD. Because CA37, how are you? Thank you for chiming in. Question, where does Cordell Jefferson fit in? Great question. I'm not sure he does, honestly. And it's not that Cordell is a bad player. This team is so deep. Where is he going to play? Whose minutes is he going to take? If everyone is healthy, Milos Uzan, LJ Cryer, Emmanuel Sharp, Mercy Miller, Malik Wilson still there, Ramon Walker, Terrence Arsenault. That's the wings and guards. And then you get to the bigs like Juwan Roberts and JoJo Tugler, Javier Francis, and Jacob McFarland, and Cedric Lott. On and on. So I'm not sure. And Chase McCarty. I'm not sure where Cordell fits in. But again, when it comes to talent, minutes, the players will earn their minutes. It's up to them. They will earn their minutes. Just leave it at that. But it's a good problem to have. It's a great problem to have. You got so much talent. Got to make it all fit, make the pieces fit. And 9-10 man rotation. We'll see how it all goes. But the Players Era Festival, I mentioned this, I think, last Thursday's show, or maybe 2 Thursdays ago, that the NCAA committee had issued a blanket waiver for this season's MTEs, multi-team events. And I made a real side remark saying, I wonder if the NCAA had in mind the Players Era Festival when they issued that blanket waiver. And I said, well, based on the changes to the Players Era Festival tournament scheduled on Saturday, the waiver has changed the schedule. The inaugural Players Era tournament now will feature a championship day on the final day of the festival, with a tournament champion being crowned. So I think that means that the extra $1 million is back in play. So that now all 8 teams will get $1 million for participating. Then the champion will get the extra $1 million as promised initially and discussed way back in the summer. Number 4, Houston will continue to face number 2, Alabama at 7 p.m. on November 26th, and Notre Dame at 11:30 p.m. on November 27th. Both games airing on TBS and Max. The Coogs were originally scheduled to play Rutgers on November 30th. Instead, the tournament will maintain the impact and power of groups while adding the championship day on November 30th. The tournament's previously announced November 26th and 27th schedule will become group play, while the November 30th action will feature to be determined matchups across the 2 groups, with pairings determined by the outcomes of the group play games. Following the November 27th games, each group will be seeded 1 through 4. After head-to-head record, seeding will be determined by total point differential in group games, capped at 20 points per game. Then total points scored and fewest points allowed. The top seeds from each division will face off in the championship game, with the rest of the standings filling out 3rd, 5th, and 7th place matchups. So put the slide up the graphic here. Let me get a little bigger. So basically, on Saturday, 1 seeds will play the 1 seeds, the 2 seeds play the 2 seeds, the 3 seeds play the 3 seeds, and the 4 seeds play the 4 seeds. That's how it'll all go now on that Saturday, November 30th. So does that make sense? Does it clear it up a little bit better? So the winner of each group will face off, and the second place team in each group will face off, and so on. So they found a way around it thanks to the NCAA and the waiver process, and there we go. So another change to the Players Era Festival. The title game will tip off at 8:30 p.m. Central. 3rd place game at 6. 5th place game at 2:30. 7th place game starting off the day competition at noon. The 2 afternoon games will air on True TV and Max, with the evening contest being shown on TNT and Max. In addition to the $1 million in NIL opportunities that each team will have already earned for participating in the ancillary events that are separate from participation in the event. That's a key little phrase. I got to get that. That sentence must be important for the NCAA to comply, and approve it. Championship Day will include additional NIL opportunities for teams immediately following the games, including NCAA compliant on-call NIL opportunities. This format change comes after the NCAA's Men's Basketball Oversight Committee granted a blanket waiver of certain NCAA MTE legislation for the 2024-25 season. Specifically, the committee granted a waiver for the legislation that provides that only one team per conference can play in the same MTE, and that teams can only play in the same MTE once over a 4-year period. And as y'all know, the Coogs and a few other teams who are participating in this year's inaugural Players Era Festival have already signed contracts for participating in years 2 and 3. That's why it's important to have the waiver of participating in the same NCAA in consecutive seasons. So the NCAA finally opened its eyes, blinked, succumbed to common sense, succumbed to pressure, whatever you want to say. It's going to happen finally in the Players Era Festival. Is going to, the initial plan of it is finally going to take place this year in the inaugural season. So that's a good thing. Rex 32. So yes, there is a trophy now for it, I'm assuming. And looking forward to the competition. I am disappointed. I am disappointed because I was looking forward to the Cougs defense going against Rutgers, 2 talented freshmen who are projected to be Ace Bailey and Mr. Harper picks 2 and 3 in next year's NBA draft. So that still might happen, but it's not scheduled now. So anyway, all right. Going to shift some gears. I'm going to bounce around because I want to discuss this. I want to get the viewers' viewpoint and opinions on this as I take a sip of my favorite beverage out of my Houston Roundball Review mug. Get yours today. Click on that button as I post later on. Cheers. Okay. CA and Rex and Miss Wanda, but I'm really curious your thoughts on this, and I will provide more info after posting this. Pete Nakos. Is it Nakos? 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 Pete, I look forward to meeting you so I can learn how to pronounce your name. Multiple sources tell On3 Sports Twitter that number 1 recruit AJ Dybantsa is expected to land an NIL package north of $3 million and could get as high as $4 million. A source close to BYU said, quote, $4 to $4.5 million is what they are prepared to pay, end quote. And they being BYU. $4 to $4.5 million. What are your thoughts on that? Let me know in the comments. Send them to me because I am curious your thoughts on that. A few coaches that I spoke to, a few colleagues as well, hate it. They shake their heads at the lack of guardrails for NIL. It's a great point that Rex brings up. Get it in writing first. Definitely. But with this group, That won't be an issue, I don't believe. And I'll just explain why now via Pete Nakos from On3. Multiple sources tell On3 that AJ Dybantsa's father, Ace, is running point on a recruitment that will land the family a 1 year, because yes, AJ will be in the draft in 26, a 1 year financial package expected to top $3 million and could get as high as $4 million. In and air, another good question right here. What if he gets injured? Rex, I wanted this myself. If he's one and done, why pay him so much? BYU wants him, wants the attention, wants the pub, the recognition that comes with it. You know, because one buddy asked me, what is the return on investment for this? All great questions. In an era of lucrative deals with donor-led NIL collectives, BYU and Kansas State appear to be legitimate contenders, with the Cougars the clear-cut favorite. And that's the BYU Cougars, not the Houston Cougars. No. Alabama recently hosted Dybantsa, but is not to believe to be in the same NIL echelon. A source close to BYU, there's the same quote, 4 to 4.5 million is what they are prepared to pay. On3 contacted Ace, AJ's dad, who said, you got to love this, who said NIL is not a factor in his son's recruitment. The family is also being advised by Leonard Armato. I've not seen that name in such a long time, long time, who previously represented Shaquille O'Neal and Oscar De La Hoya. That goes back a long way when Oscar was in his prime boxing and younger years of Oscar boxing. Armato declined to comment. Quote from Ace. As a matter of fact, AJ doesn't know how much NIL they're offering him. Ace Dybantsa told On3 in a phone call Tuesday. My wife and I decided not to tell him because we don't want money to be a factor in where he wants to go. Oh, okay. Our advisor, he handles the money for us. To give you an example, let's say he chose South Carolina, which they have offered as a scholarship. They have $5 million on the table, and Kentucky comes. Kentucky has $3 million. AJ wants to go to Kentucky. He's going to Kentucky, end quote. Okay. After a transfer portal cycle that saw multiple players net $2 million paydays, Dybantsa is expected to reset the market for a top player in college basketball. Quote, it's probably going to be the highest one-year number that we've seen to date, end quote, a source close to the Kansas State NIL operation told On3. BYU is in the driver's seat of the recruitment. Yes, BYU. Multiple sources continue to tell On3. The small forward reclassified into the 2025 class last October and is playing his final high school season at Utah Prep Academy in Hurricane, Utah. Many view it as a stepping stone to BYU. With Mark Pope leading BYU for Kentucky last offseason, the Cougars hired Phoenix Suns associate head coach Kevin Young. The coaching change allowed Utah Jazz owner Ryan Smith and executive Danny Ainge to become more involved with the basketball program, which has paid off with BYU viewed by many across college basketball as the leader to land Dybantsa. Quote, when he decided to go to Kentucky, Ryan and Danny were like, all right, this is our chance to reboot basketball, a BYU source said. Those two, Ryan Smith and Danny Ainge, are super passionate about BYU basketball, end quote. The source continued. They've given Kevin Young an open checkbook to go out and get whoever he needs that would fit the culture and will help him win now and reestablish BYU as a basketball power. He's ending up in Provo. End of story. Name another program that will pay what he's looking for. Has a former highest paid NBA assistant running the program until the Jazz need him, with a fan base that's wild and creates an amazing atmosphere and staff who are going to get him ready for the league. And you're in the Big 12, end quote. So there you go. AJ Dybantsa, all signs point to him committing first and then signing with the BYU Cougars in the Big 12. So this is Utah Jazz recruit and development by way of BYU. Could be. Could be. Would be good to have top players like that in the Big 12. Agreed. Top players in Big 12 men's basketball. Because as a quick aside, this is why I believe Commissioner Brett Yormark, who says he's really bullish on the growth and potential of women's basketball. If Brett had his way, he would love for the number one recruit in girls high school basketball for the class of 2025, Miss Aliyah Chavez, to go to Texas Tech. It is a NIL battle between Texas Tech and Texas. That should be the final two for Miss Aliyah Chavez. She is the next superstar in women's basketball. She's that good. Her NIL package, requests, offers, whatever, are at least $1 million. Rex, CA, Miss Wanda, the reports are the offers that Texas Tech and Texas are willing to go to are too much for LSU. Think about that. LSU said, yeah, no, that's too much for us. We're not going to do that. LSU. Okay. LSU said, no, we like Aliyah Chavez, but we don't like that much. Think about that. Texas Tech, their collective, their boosters. Yeah, we want to keep Aliyah Chavez, who's at Lubbock Monterey High School. We want to keep her here locally and then have her play in the Big 12. That would be a huge boon for Big 12 women's basketball. Yes, Iowa State is ranked number 8. Yes, the Big 12 has 4 women's teams in the top 16. Yes. But you ask you guys who are watching, you ask national media, who are the first few teams that pop into your head as legit threats to win the national championship? Nobody will pick a team from the Big 12. Nobody. It will be South Carolina, obviously, Texas, USC, UConn, and then probably UCLA. Nobody gonna pick Iowa State. No one's picking Kansas State. No one's picking TCU. No one's picking West Virginia. You know, these skills got the jokes. Right there. The legit threat, yeah. Another kind of threat, but yeah. SC women's basketball is pretty legit. And speaking of which, I'm going to talk about a team in the SEC right after this break. You're watching the Houston Roundball Review takeover of the lunch break. Takeover here. This is Throwback Thursday, sponsored by the Saxenian family. This is their last sponsorship of their agreement. Much appreciated for them, as always, for their support. You want to sponsor, pick up the baton, and sponsor the show for the rest of the year, let me know. Reach out to me. But the Houston Roundball Review Takeover, streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and of course on Roku via the BS3 Network. Be back in about 35 seconds.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.
Welcome back to the Houston Roundball Review Takeover of the Lunch Break, sponsored by the Saxenian family, powered by JM&E, and streaming live on YouTube, Houston Roundball Review channel, Facebook, the Houston Roundball Review Facebook page, and the BS3 Network on Roku. If you have Roku, like I do, just download BS3 TV. If not, just go to BS3Network.com or BS3TVLive.com. I'm wearing some of my BS3 merch right here. And I want to shout out my man publicly, Brother Al High, a BS3 colleague. We met again, saw each other at the Big 12 Hoops Media Days these last 2 days. And Al was kind enough to drive me to the airport Wednesday. Save me some dollars. Just so needed right now. But before the break, was talking a little bit about women's basketball, women's college hoops, and which school might get Aliyah Chavez, the number 1 recruit in the class of 25. Texas Tech is one of the 2 favorites. The other favorite, the Texas Longhorns. And the Texas Longhorns made some news, shockingly. Earlier this week, Longhorns sophomore Madison Booker named preseason AP All-American. Yes, and I am on the Longhorns media list. I am going to get a credential. The Longhorns, Rex, CA, D-Skills are going to credential me. The Houston Roundball Review. They're in Austin. Y'all know that. Austin. So I'll let them know I won't make all the games. Obviously, I'll be there when I can. Kris, that's fine. We appreciate you telling us in your coverage. The Houston Roundball Review, folks. It's just not this H-Town teams. I'm telling y'all. But Texas women's basketball's Madison Booker was named one of 5 preseason AP All-Americans by the Associated Press on Tuesday. Booker, who was voted preseason co-player of the year in the SEC by the media, is coming off a freshman season in which he earned WBCA first-team All-America honors and was selected the Cheryl Miller Small Forward of the Year. And this info surprised me. Booker becomes the first player in Texas women's basketball history to be named a preseason AP All-American since the recognition started prior to the 94-95 season. Many legends they've had. Wow. These Longhorn greats received votes to the preseason All-American team in their previous years. Edwina Wink Brown, Stacey Stevens, Jamie Carey, Heather Schreiber, may she rest in peace, Tiffany Jackson, Nneka Enemkali, and Brooke McCarty. Brooke from this area chose to go to Austin rather than Houston. Shocking. Booker helped Texas win 33 games last season, their most in a season since 85-86. Booker became the first freshman in the history of the Big 12 women's basketball to be named the Big 12 Player of the Year. Booker was also selected by the conference head coaches as the Big 12 Freshman of the Year and a unanimous selection to the All Big 12 First Team. Now, what she did in the tournament, the Big 12 tournament, man. In the Big 12 championship, Booker led the Longhorns to the title and was named Tournament Most Outstanding Player. In the tournament, Booker averaged 21.3 points, 4 rebounds, and 5 assists per game. She shot 50% from the field and had just 3 turnovers in the entire tournament, including 0 in the title game. In Big 12 play, she averaged 20.2 points, 5.4 rebounds, and 5.2 assists while shooting 48% from the field and almost 92% from the free throw line. And before I get to that last slide, Madison Booker is not a point guard. She was moved to the point guard spot when Roy Harmon from Houston area tore her ACL in December in, I think, the layup line warm-ups before the game against Jackson State. So Madison Booker went from small forward to point forward for the Longhorns as a freshman and put up those stellar numbers. Wow. Booker set a freshman assist record with 185 assists and finished 4th on the UT freshman scoring list with 611 points. She scored in double figures in all 32 games and had 14 games scoring 20 or more points. Against ranked opponents, she averaged 21.6 points, 6 rebounds, and 5.6 assists per game. Joining Booker on the preseason AP All-America team are Paige Beckers from UConn, Hannah Hidalgo, Notre Dame, Kiki Irfin, and Juju Watkins, both from USC. These skills, you see Houston on there anywhere? I laugh, I kid because it hurts so much. But anyway, that's a stellar All-America team. Madison Booker, Paige Beckers, Hannah Hidalgo, Kiki Irfin, and Juju Watkins. Yeah, that's not bad right there. Today, earlier Thursday, the Longhorns were picked to finish second in the SEC by a vote of the league's head coaches. Madison Booker was selected the SEC Preseason Player of the Year and was selected to the preseason All-SEC First Team. Roy Harmon, I'll say it again, from the Houston area, was voted to the preseason All-SEC Second Team. Same info about Madison Booker, but Roy is a 2-time All-America honorable mention selection and the 2023 Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year. There is the order of finish. On top, number 1, the reigning champ, South Carolina. 2, Texas. 3, LSU. Yes, I do. CA, I have an A&M credential. I sure do. 4, Oklahoma. 5, Alabama. 6, Ole Miss. 7, Tennessee. 8, Kentucky. 9, Auburn. 10, Mississippi State. 11, Texas A&M. 12, Vanderbilt. 13, Georgia. 14, Florida. 15, Missouri. 16, Arkansas. Texas A&M is dealing with injuries for their scrimmage, closed scrimmage, whatever you want to call it. I was told they only had 6 healthy players. Talking about the women's team. 6. So they're battling injuries right now. But to answer CA's question, yes, I do have an A&M credential. Folks, I put in the work. Folks respect me. They respect the Houston Roundball Review. You know, I interviewed Baylor players and Coach Colin Tuesday at Media Day. You can go to Houston Roundball Review on YouTube and check out those interviews. On Instagram as well. On Threads as well. Today, this morning, I posted my question and answer from Coach Sampson regarding Terrence Arsenault and his progress. John Higgins, the Big 12 liaison of officials. Craig Smith, Utah Utes head coach, because the Utes have a former Rice Owl, Keanu Dawes, transferred from Rice to Utah. KD is a two-time finalist for the Guy V. Lewis Award. So it's all tied together. And I asked also Mr. Kevin Young, the head coach of BYU, about his thoughts on the Big 12. So all those videos are posted on YouTube, Instagram, Threads, Facebook, and 3 of those 4, I think, are also posted on TikTok. And let me say, in these last few minutes here, I may play a clip of D-Skill's favorite head coach, Ronald Huey. Might chat with him from Tuesday's Big 12 Media Day. But I want to say this. And I want y'all's thoughts on it. I'm not sure how big a deal it is. It's for y'all to decide. Yesterday, I was there Tuesday and Wednesday. But Chris Baldwin from Paper City Magazine, Houston, made it to Kansas City and joined me at Media Day. He and I were the 2 media representatives from the city of Houston to attend Media Day. Paper City, the Houston Roundball Review, are not traditional media outlets. Traditional media is, depending on where you are, has become obsolete, has different priorities. And while I say that, as Rex says, and I'm saying all this not as a slight to the Chronicle or Joseph Duarte for not being there. And there was someone on Twitter who posted, wow, a city the size of Houston only having 2 representatives attend Media Day. It ain't football. That's one, much to my disappointment, the lack of coverage and attention that basketball receives in the city. Go Coogs was in Kansas City last Saturday for the football game between the Coogs and KU. Did not attend Hoops Media Day. So Ryan Monso was there for football. I wasn't. I was there for basketball. He wasn't. Joseph Duarte from the Chronicle was there for football, also for the Cougs KU football game. The budgets, Chronicle has way more money than the Roundball Review. Way. So, folks can argue, can decide, well, they should have sent Duarte to the basketball media day. I don't know why they didn't do it. I don't know. Whatever. And Rex, you'd have to go check last week. I think it was last week. The SEC Hoops Media Day has already happened. I think it happened last week, or maybe even 2 weeks ago. So you'd have to go to the Chronicle website and see if Brent or someone from the Chronicle was there. But I'm just trying to, I want to get folks and Houstonians, Coug fans, Coug alums, Coug supporters, to recognize reality. Traditional media does not, chooses what to cover, where to go, all those things. So my thing is, if you have been critical of the Chronicle, critical of Duarte, critical of the Chronicle, they spend too much time covering Texas. They spend too much time covering Texas A&M or whatever. It's Houston. To those folks, I say a few things. Have you supported Houston Roundball Review? financially? Are you supporting Paper City Magazine financially? Are you supporting GoCoogs.com financially? This is business, folks. This is business. This is business for all of us. As independent publications, most of us don't do this full time. We got jobs, full-time jobs. So on one hand, you criticize the Chronicle for a lack of coverage, but then you don't support the other outlets to do provide coverage that the Chronicle does not provide of the Cougs. So you can't have it both ways. Many of y'all choose to have it both ways, but that doesn't help me, Go Cougs, 24/7 outlet that covers the Cougs, Paper City Magazine, on and on. There are ways to show your support for all those outlets. And if you want to still be critical of the Chronicle, fine. But I'm asking you to support us as well. Support the independents. Support the non-traditional outlets that cover the Cougs. I've been doing this 30 years. 30 years. And it took 28 years for alums to support me. Okay, that's reality as well. I've been to the last 4 Big 12 Hoops Media Days. The Cougs have been a member last 2 years. I was there 2 years prior. Once it was official. Heck, I think 4 years ago, I was there before it became official. I resumed covering the Big 12 because I still had connections in the conference. And they said, Kris, come on back, man. We'll give you a credential. We appreciate you. Thank you for your coverage. Thank you for your effort. Come on back. Some of them say you shouldn't have left in the first place. So, but y'all Bass, Duarte and Bass, I'm not into all that. I cover the Cougs. You see, I also cover Texas. I cover the Aggies. I cover SEC. I cover the SWAC. I cover the Southland, Rice Owls. I'm still looking for folks to support me and the Houston Roundball Review. I cover the Rockets. Speaking of the Rockets, I came back to the house, saw the replay of the Rockets' loss, home loss, season opening loss to what was left of Charlotte. The Hornets were without a few players, but Mr. Ball came back and he balled out. Before I hopped on my plane, I'm not a jet because I'm not a big wig like D-Skills and don't have deep pockets. The Rockets were up by, I think, 14 in the third quarter. When the flight landed in Houston, I got the update that the Rockets lost by 5. And I was like, what the hell? So I came back, I got back to the house. I watched probably the last minute of the third quarter and then the fourth quarter. Ooh. These skills, right. It was some meltdowns, some breakdowns. Offense stopped working. Defense couldn't rebound. They got pushed around in the fourth quarter. Grant Williams did a little bit of Grant Williams things in terms of crying to the refs, being a pest, making threes, a little bit of everything in the fourth quarter. Green and Sengun was with a bad turnover in the last minute or so. Careless, got in a hurry. Fred VanVleet didn't shoot well until the last, I think, 2 minutes of the fourth quarter. They missed Steven Adams on the boards. Yeah. Game 2, Friday night, home against Memphis, and then they go face the Spurs back-to-back. I think Saturday and Monday, I think that's right, in San Antonio. But they got to do better. Your thoughts on the contract extensions that the Rockets signed Alperen Sengun and Jalen Green? Both young men got player options in their final year of their contract. Jalen Green got a 3-year deal, player option in year 3. Sengun got a 5-year deal, player option in year 5, barring some miracle. Both probably will exercise their player option in their 3rd year. So the Rockets will be on that hook for that money. Jalen Green, if Jalen plays well for those 2 years, the first 2 years of the deal, he may decide to test free agency. I doubt it, though. But you have to play really well to get offers from other teams to make it worth his while financially to hit the market. 3 years, 3 years, 106, something like that. First 2 years, a total of $68 million. LP 5 years and 185, something like that. Which of those deals make more sense to y'all? Which of those 2 deals you think was better for the Rockets? I'm kind of the Jalen Green contract. I'm like, y'all could just wait until next summer, and see what he does this season before giving him any money or a longer contract. Sengun took less money, more security, but it's kind of smart by the Rockets, but not. We'll see. D-Skills, next time I see Jalen at Target, I'm going to ask him to pay for my stuff and see what he says. He should say yes. Or he might say, well, man, I'm a dad now, so I got to take care of my kid. And then D-Skills, if he said that, what would you say? What would you say? But these closing moments before I close it out, I did speak with Emmanuel Sharp and Juwan Roberts, and I will post those vids and or comments later on my website or social media. But I want to play the clip from the Big 12 official liaison referees, Mr. John Higgins.
Kris Gardner, a Houston Roundball Review. John, are there any specific points of emphasis this season for officials for games?
Well, it's the same as they were last year. There's only one, I forgot to mention, there's only really one rule and it's not really much of a rule change, is when we have an elevator screen type play and a guy tries to run up between the 2 screeners. These 2 guys can't hook arms. If they hook arms, it's automatic foul, and the referee picks one of the other guy. That's really the only thing besides the new out of bounds at the end of the game. I don't know if you remember the TCU, I think it was TCU Georgetown game where the guy stepped out, came back in, hit the shot at the buzzer, and it went into basket. The only time you can obviously review that play is when there's zeros on the clock. If there's 2 or 3 tenths on the clock, you can't review the play. Those are only rule changes. It's a non-rule change year, but they did edit that, and I think that may get maybe some change prior to the year. That's the rumors around the referee world. But other than that, there's no real. We're going to referee like we're going to referee, and one of the coaches talked about. I'm not sure which coach talked about. This is the Big 12. It's big boy basketball. It's the hardest. It's the best league in the country. It's the hardest league to referee. I remember 10 years ago when a buddy of mine refereed. It was maybe the Kansas State game, and he came over from the ACC and he said, "Is it like this every night?" I said, "Yeah, every single night." It's the hardest and obviously the best league in the country, and that's why we're try to get the best guys to referee it.
I love Big 12 basketball. I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to the season, the competition, 20 conference games, 16 teams. I'm looking forward to both the men's and the women's side of Big 12 hoops. CA, thank you for this. I got it right. Sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm wrong. New York 1-5. I'm not thrilled with head coach / GM Cheryl Reeve publicly bashing the officiating and saying it was stolen from us. Refs make mistakes. And Heck, y'all should have made some shots. I mean, that's a bad look for a coach / general manager to be publicly critical of the league's officiating. That's just not a good look for the league. They're suffering enough black eyes as it is. But thank you, as always, for watching this edition of the Houston Roundball Review. TakeOver, sponsored by the Saxenian family, powered by JM&E, streaming live on Facebook and YouTube and on Roku via the BS3 Network. Good question. I'm not sure how the crowd is looking for Sunday. I haven't heard anything lately about how ticket sales are going for the game between the Coogs and Aggies, 4 o'clock. Can be seen. Will be streamed on ESPN Plus, 4 o'clock. Matt Thomas and Reed Geddes on the call, but I will be at the game. So if you see me, come say hi. Sitting in my usual seat. But as always, since 1994, the Houston Roundball Review. Local name, global perspective. Everyone, take care. Peace.
It's Sybil Wilkes with what you need to know. Today, it's Thursday, October 24th, 2024. Number 1, U.S. District Judge Louis Lyman ordered Rudy Giuliani this week to hand over his New York penthouse and other assets to begin paying the $148 million owed to 2 Georgia election workers. Giuliani was found guilty last year of defaming Ruby Freeman and Wandrea Shea Moss by spreading false claims that they committed election fraud. The workers placed a lien on his Palm Beach condo, while Giuliani's request to block asset sales until his appeal was denied by the judge. Number 2, the Internet Archive faced its third cyber attack in October of 2024, exposing user data through compromised Zendesk API tokens. Earlier breaches this month included a stolen GitLab token affecting 31 million users and a DDoS attack that took the site offline. These incidents highlight serious security lapses that threaten both user privacy and the integrity of the archive's digital collections. Number 3, Treehouse Foods has recalled dozens of frozen waffle products sold under brands like Kodiak Cakes, Publix, and Target due to possible Listeria contamination. Consumers are advised to discard the affected products or return them for a refund. No illnesses luckily have been reported thus far. Number 4, it's Black Voters Matter Thursday, and on October 19th, Black Men Vote, Philly Bike Fest, Black Bikers Vote, and Enon Tabernacle Baptist Church organized the Black Bikers Vote Ride Out with 150 motorcycle riders engaging black male voters in Germantown and West Philadelphia. The event ended with a voter registration rally at the West Philadelphia Container Village. Black Men Vote aims to register 100,000 black men nationwide, with 60,000 already registered in Philadelphia. Way to go. Number 5, in our mental health and wellness section, if election anxiety is overwhelming, here's some tips to cope. Number 1, limit your news consumption. Set boundaries to avoid overloading on election coverage, which can heighten stress. Number 2, practice self-care. Engage in relaxing activities like exercise, reading, or spending time with loved ones to maintain some balance. Number 3, vote early. Having a plan and voting early can reduce anxiety by giving you a sense of control over the process. Here's your daily inspiration from Yogi's Jewels. Judging someone by their intentions rather than their mistakes fosters kindness. Join me today live on YouTube and Facebook at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central with our mental health and wellness contributor, Aprilette Russell and Yolanda Starks-White, as we discuss today's top headlines and more. I'm Sybil Wilkes. Be informed, be empowered.